Okay, thank you for inviting me to speak today, Iris. It means a lot to me to be here with you on your 5th anniversary. I just try to remember how long I know you. It's probably over 10 years. And I first got to know you when you were working for DEC, and you were the lady who were judging my proposal. And I was terrified of you. And then I met you at Bioplastics conference. And I just thought, I can't speak to this lady working in DEC, judging about, the future of the biorenewables. I had no clue how wonderful person you are. So it's a really pleasure to get you to know from different angles. I wanted to talk to you all today about why we benefiting from networks like Iris built. And I haven't been attending many of the events which you had online this year. Our life has been disrupted and different, but I've always been in touch with Iris and some of the founding bio ladies, because your network keeps sustaining me, even if you haven't seen me for years and didn't know about my existence. So it was always there. And I wanted to have a more general talk about why we benefiting from networks like that. So I wanted to bring you an idea of the core values. So each of us have different core values, and they usually stay with us for a very long time, but then some sudden life events affect us and our core values might change. But this happens really very rare. So if you have a key of sort of set of key core values, they stay with you for life. And this is important. And for me, for example, some of the core values are bio-based, innovation, community, and planet. So they stay with me. And so that's why I think that staying with the bio ladies is really comprehends me. It talks about me, who I am, and why I'm benefiting from this network. So the other concept I wanted to bring and say again why we're benefiting from networks like this is the concept of the circle of trust. So we tend to have our family or maybe closest friends with whom we share our successes, but also with whom we share our doubts, like Agnieszka was mentioning, or Brenda, that we feel that there are barriers that we can't jump over. So we share this very intimate and important things with our circle of trust. And you might have maybe only 2 or 3 friends like that. And sometimes you might benefit from the wider perspective. So I think networks like this expand our circle of trust. And this is where I want to show you that, from you and your close friends and family, you're building other networks. And if you trust them, you begin to use them and they begin to benefit you by giving you different perspective. And the idea is that it is important to expand your circle of trust. If you want to expand your influence on your immediate environment, if you want to professionally achieve something, you actually need to perceive more perspectives and listen to different opinions. But also you have more people with whom you can share ideas. And that's why Bio Ladies Network is very important and proving very successful. You can see by the number of the members growing year on year. So currently there are 328 members, I was told by Iris, might be not quite correct, but about 300 members. And if you can imagine that if you can speak to 2 people, they give you one advice, but if you can speak to people who know people who you trust, you can also get to connect with people who you would never be conversing, and you can excel professionally in that, and also on your personal level. So that's why that's important. The next concept I want to bring is celebrating differences, and differences are a core value of Iris, I think. So we heard from Angela already that Iris was extremely proactive, and she spent a lot of her time on building those mentoring network within central government, and she's truly passionate about it. She was going to different organizations to talk about differences, and I was extremely pleased when we have a new CEO appointed to UKRI, who is actually Gilles' first PhD supervisor, I think, as well. And freely so, I was delighted that this lady is also plant scientist. So we have now a lady who is a plant scientist who came from, junior positions in science to be chief executive of the UKRI, and listen to her passion for celebrating the differences and recognizing different contributions in science. This is something that I really toasted with a glass of wine when I heard about. Because before in academia, so I come from academia, so I don't work now in academia per se, I work with the research environment, but I work more sort of on stakeholder engagement and knowledge transfer. But within academia, it's very tough to be successful, especially as a lady. If you're not group leader by the age of 30, you failed. If you haven't published articles in Nature or somewhere, you failed. So it's really hard, but it's unfair because there are many contributions in science innovation that get unnoticed, which helping others actually with their careers. So now to hear Ottilien Laser to talk about value of contributions from different parts of the innovation network is really very refreshing. So yeah, and then I wanted to talk to you about that changing is good. So we all change, our interests change. So Gilles written a really excellent article in the five-year anniversary newsletter about changes and metamorphosis. It was lovely to read that. All of us professionally change. So we might be changing interests of places where we work, and change is natural. It's a natural rhythms, day and night, seasonal changes, animal adaptation, to different environments, but we also mature and we sometimes change our core values. But throughout these changes, it is very important that you have your core values and a circle of trust there to support you. You might be changing and going off to different directions. Like I was a plant scientist once, then I was doing something with non-food crops, and then I was doing something with agriculture and food manufacturing, and now I'm dealing with genomics and bioinformatics. So I haven't even anticipated in my wildest dreams the changes that can happen, but I always have Iris, I have all my friends, Gilles, Agnieszka, Beatrix, everyone, Carmen, that I can go back because I know they correspond to my true core values, and I can talk to them about issues I have or difficulties, and they will support me impartially. So now the concept of the true north, well, that we know we always have somebody to rely on, and we can change and we can be wonderful, but it's very important to keep a course on something that is very important. And to, with your professional life, try to adhere to this true north and move toward that direction. So for me, the true north is corresponding to bio-based, to innovation, but it also, I think, for all of us here in BioLadies Network is sustainable development goals. We are addressing it in a different way, but I think we're all passionate about it. That's why it doesn't matter where we come from, at which level we work, and whether we meet regularly or infrequently, we can always get in touch with each other, and we would understand each other why we do that. So we're passionate about this. And yeah, and that's why my last slide, I just wanted to say that BioLadies Network is a foundation to diverge. So it is there to help you with all your endeavors and help you to be successful and be happy and be and give something to others and take from others as well. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk to you today. And thank you very much for